Munson with Munson Music, and we're going to talk about how you can play a Taylor Swift song called 22. And we're going to start on a G major chord. And the way you play G major, first finger is going to go to the A string on the 2nd fret, second finger is going to go low E on the 3rd fret, and the 3rd finger is going to go to the high E on the 3rd fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds a G major chord, and it sounds really, really happy. And actually with this song, we're going to talk about some other chords in just a moment to sound a little more like the recording, but we're going easiest way out first. So we got G major, and then from G major we're going to D major. And the way you play D major, first finger is going to go to the G string on the 2nd fret, second finger is going to go to the high E on the 2nd fret, and the 3rd finger is going to go to the B string on the 3rd fret. And if you strum just the D, G, B, and E, kind of the skinny 4 strings, that sounds a D major chord, and it sounds really, really happy. And then for our verse, from the D major, we're going to be going to a C major chord. And when you play C major, first finger is going to go to the B string on the 1st fret, the second finger is going to go to the D string on the 2nd fret, and third finger is going to go to the A string on the 3rd fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds a C major chord, and it sounds really, really happy. And then from the C major, we're going to be going back to D major, and kind of starting that over again for our verse. So we got G major, D major, C major, D major, G major, D major, C major, D major. But a lot of times to make a song like this a little bit more interesting, I like adding something called a strum pattern. And one of my favorite strum patterns for a 4/4 like this is down, down, up, up, down, up. So we just tried that a lot on the G. You'd have down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. So you want to do that a lot to get your right hand used to it. And actually there's a couple ways you could kind of approach this verse. One would be to kind of do a down, down, up on each of the chords. So you'd have G with a down, down, up, D, down, down, C, down, down, D, down, down, G, down, down, D, down, down, C, down, down, D, down, down, G, down, down, D, down, down, C, down, down, D, down, down, G, down, down, D, down, down, C, down, down, D, down, down, up. Another way would be to kind of half the down, down, up, down, up between the chords. So you can do the G for the down, down, up, and then do the D for the up, down, up, and then the C with the down, down, up, D, up, down, up, kind of splitting between the two. So G, down, up, D, up, down, C, down, down, up, D, up, down, G, down, down, up, D, up, down, C, down, down, up, D, up, down, up. Now something else you may want to try and add to it is it almost sounds like Taylor Swift is doing some different chords, or some different voicings for those chords. So another way to play the G major on the verse would be to do a G major with the first finger on the A string, 2nd fret, same place we just were. Second finger on the low E on the 3rd fret, third finger on the B string on the 3rd fret, and then the pinky on the high E on the 3rd fret. And if you strum all those together, that's another way to play that G major at the very beginning. And another way to do the D actually for this verse part actually is you can use a D sus. And the way you play D sus, or D suspended forward, is first finger is going to go to that G string on the 2nd fret, third finger is going to stay on the B string on the 3rd fret, pinky is going to stay on the high E on the 3rd fret, and if you strum on just the top 4 strings with that, that's called D sus. So you may want to think about substituting in the D sus for the D major. And instead of a C major, you can actually use something called C major 9. And the way you play C major 9, first finger is going to go to the D string on the 2nd fret, second finger is going to go to the A string on the 3rd fret, third finger is going to stay on the B string on the 3rd fret, and the pinky is going to stay on the high E on the 3rd fret. And if you strum all those together, that's called a C major 9. It sounds really, really happy. And actually, if you kind of aim from the A string to the high E, that'll get you your clearest sound. And then you could go back to the D sus. So another way to play it with that down, down, up strum pattern would be using those G's and D's and C chords. So you have G down, down, D sus, down, down, C major 9, down, down, D sus, down, down, G down, down, D sus, down, down, C major 9, down, down, D sus, down, down, up. Or you could do the splitting thing where we're doing the G down, up, D sus, up, down, C major 9, down, down, up, D sus, up, down, G down, down, up, D sus, up, down, C major 9, down, down, up, D sus, up, down, up. So it's a couple different ways, and at the very end of the verse we're going to do a big C with a down. And then we're going to be going into our chorus part, and our chorus is going to kind of mix up a lot of those chords. We start on the G major, and then we go to D major, and then we go to C major, but then we go to an E minor. And actually the easiest way to play E minor would be first finger on the A string, 2nd fret, second finger on the D string, 2nd fret, and if you strum all those together, that sounds an E minor chord, and it sounds really, really sad. But another way you could kind of work the E minor is working something called the E minor 7, where you would actually take the first finger A string on the second fret, second finger on the D string second fret, but you'd add in the third finger on the B string third fret and the pinky on the high E third fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds like E minor 7, which you can actually use for the E minors, that chorus. And then we're going to be going to D sus, or D major, and then C major, and then kind of ending on the D major, that whole strum pattern that we're doing. All the other ones are kind of half, so we could just do that down, down, up on each chord, where we'd have the G, down, up, D, down, down, C major, not down, down, E minor, down, down, D, down, down, C, down, down, D, down, down, up, down, up. Or you could use those other chords that we were talking about, where you got the G, down, up, D, down, down, C, down, down, E minor, down, down, D, down, down, C, down, down, D, down, down, up, down, up. Or you could try it with the halving, where you got the G, down, up, D, up, down, C, down, down, up, E minor, up, down, D, down, down, up, C, up, down, D, down, down, up, down, up. Or you can try it with the regular chords, where you have the G, down, up, D, up, down, C, down, down, up, E minor, up, down, D, down, down, up, C, up, down, D, down, down, up, down, up. And then we kind of end up on our chorus tag. And our chorus tag is actually kind of becomes the outro later on. The outro part is doing the down, down, up on each of the halving chords. So you have the G down, down, up, D, down, down, C, down, down, up, down, C, down, down, E minor, down, down, D, down, down, up, down, up. Another way to do it would be doing the halving we were talking about, where you got the G, down, up, D, up, down, C, down, down, up, down, C, down, down, E minor, up, down, D, down, down, up, down, G, down, down, up, D, up, down, C, down, down, up, E minor, up, down, and that's C, down, down, up, E minor, up, down, D, down, down, up, down, up, for that chorus tag. Now another way you could kind of do the chorus too, and what it kind of sounds like in the recording, is that you do 2 downs on the first chord, and then kind of go to the next chord and go up, or down, up, down, up. So, so that could be another way to work the chorus too, actually, because it kind of sounds like that in the recording, where you go G with a down, down, kill it, D with a down, up, and then we go to the C, down, down, E minor, down, D, down, down, C, down, and then the D with the down, down, up, down, kind of open it up at the end. So you have G, down, down, D, down, down, C, C, E minor, D, C, D. So that'll be another way you may want to think about using your chorus. Now something that I think could be really cool too through the verse is working some bass notes. And what I mean by bass notes is, like, instead of doing the down, down, up, down, up as a bass pattern, you could actually add in a bass note on the first down. So for instance, on the G chord, you could do a bass on the low E string, and then do the down, up, down, up. If you had that all the way through, actually we'll just be doing the bass down, up on most of our chords. But just to try that with all of them, you'd have G with the low E bass, down, up, down, G with the low E bass, down, up, down, G with the low E bass, down, up, down, up. So on the D chord, you could do your D string for your bass. So we got D with the D bass, down, up, down, up. And then you get your C, you got the A string for the bass. C with the A bass, down, down, C with an A bass, down, down, up. And then when we get the E minors, then you'd have the low E for the bass on your E minor chords. So you got the low E bass, down, down, up. The weird thing is the halving, but if we tried that with kind of a bass down, up on each of our chords for the halving part in the verses, we'd have G with the low E bass, down, up, D with the D bass, down, up, C with an A bass, down, up, D with the D bass, down, up, G with the low E bass, down, up, D with the D bass, down, up, C with an A bass, down, up, D with the D bass, down, up, G with the low E bass, down, up, D with the D bass, down, up, C with an A bass, down, up, D with the D bass, down, up, G with the low E bass, down, up, D with the D bass, down, up, C with an A bass, down, up, D with the D bass, down, up. And if we tried that through our chorus, then we have G with the low E bass, down, up, D with the D bass, down, up, C with an A bass, down, up, E minor with the low E bass, down, up, D with the D bass, down, up, C with an A bass, down, with the D down, bass down, up, down, G with the low E bass, down, up, D with the D bass, down, up, C with an A bass, down, up, E minor with the low E bass, down, up, D with the D bass, down, up, C with an A bass, down, up, D with the bass, down, down, up. And then if we tried that on our outro part, we'd have the G with the low E bass, down, up, D with the D bass, down, C with an A bass, down, down, C with an A bass, down, like the recording though on this is kind of working those bass notes in something called a 16th note strum pattern. So now I'm kind of talking about the very, very intro lick. And if you started on the G major and did 2 basses on the low E, and then did a down, down, up, and then did a down, up after that. So we got bass, bass, down, down, up, bass, bass, down, down, up, down, up. That kind of sounds like what Taylor's doing. And then she's kind of going to the D sus for a down, down, but then lifting off the first finger for kind of another down stroke. So we got G chord with a low E bass, bass, down, down, up, D sus with a down, down, G with a down, bass, bass, down, down, up, D sus, down, down, down. I'm kind of opening up for the G chord on that. And so bass, bass, down, down, up, D sus, down, down, down. And then you go to the C major 9 and kind of do that for the C chord in the verse, where you got the A string for the bass, bass, down, down, up, and then you go back to that D sus lick, where we're going D sus with a down, down, and then opening up for the G chord. So all together, you got G with low E bass, bass, down, down, up, D sus with a down, down, G with a down, C with the A bass, down, or down, down, up, D sus with a down, down, G with a down. Think about using that kind of for your verse, because that's just a really, really cool lick. But that would be the basics of it. And then when you get to your chorus part, you could kind of go back to that down, down, D with the down, up, C, down, down, E minor, D, C. Now on those long Ds though, you may want to try adding in something I call a 16th note strum pattern, and actually that lick is kind of based off of this. And one of my favorite 16th note strum patterns is a long down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, up. And what I mean by 16th note is like if you're tapping your foot, where we're doing the down, down, up, down, up, we're actually dividing our foot taps into 2 parts. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. What a 16th note is where you divide it into 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And what I mean by a long down, 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 up, down, down, up, is if you took your G and just did a long down for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what you're doing on the first beat. And on the second beat, you do a down on 1, down on 3, up on 4. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, down, down, up, 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 down, down, up. And then on the third beat, you do a up, down. So up on 2, down on 3. We're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 up, down, 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 1 up, down. And then on the fourth beat, you're going down, up, right along with the 1, 2, 3, 4. So down, up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So all together, we can sound really good on that last D of the chorus. And it's kind of doing a long down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, up, long down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, up. Now, if you wanted to, you could even kind of take that strum pattern and then half it between those chords too. So, for instance, on the chorus part, you could do G with just the down, 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 up. And then actually, I kind of like the halving thing myself, where you do G with a down, 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 up, and then go to the D for the up, down, down, up, on that chorus part. So you'd have G with a down, 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 up, D, up, down, down, C, down, 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 up, E minor, up, down, down, D, down, down, up, C, up, down, D with a down, down, up, down, G with a down. And then if we tried that through our outro, then you have the G with the down, down, up, D, up, down, C, down, down, up, down, C, down, down, up, E minor, up, down, C, down, down, up, But that's the basics of how you can play 22 by Taylor Swift. So good luck!